I didn't leave the chat because I was angry. If I'm being honest, I stayed in it longer than I should have. Long enough to get used to the tone, the way jokes tilted in one direction, the way silence worked like agreement. So when my father typed it, called me a loser, added that no one wanted to see me at dinner, it didn't feel like a sudden break. It felt like something finally said out loud. There was a laughing emoji after it. A couple of cousins reacted to that, not the words. I read it twice, not because I didn't understand, but because I wanted to make sure I wasn't imagining the ease of it. The casual way a person can remove you from a space you've been quietly holding together. I didn't respond. I didn't type anything and delete it. I just left for a few hours, nothing happened. The chat moved on like it always did. Someone sent a photo of food. Someone else complained about traffic. My absence didn't interrupt anything. That part used to bother me. It didn't this time. I opened my banking app later that night, not with any sense of urgency. More like I was finishing something I had already decided earlier without admitting it to myself. There were 3 regular payments tied to that household. Utilities, a small loan installment, and a subscription my father liked but never set up himself. None of them were dramatic. None of them felt like support in the way people talk about it. They were just there, quietly handled. I stopped them one by one. No message, no explanation. The next day was normal. Work didn't change. The city didn't feel different. No one called. It took until the evening for the first message to come through. Not in the family chat, but directly. My younger cousin. Hey, did something happen with the electricity bill? I stared at it for a moment. It wasn't accusatory, just confused. I didn't reply. More messages followed over the next 2 days. Different tones. My aunt asking if I'd change banks. My older brother sending a short call me. My father didn't message. That part made sense. By the 3rd day, the confusion had shifted into something more structured. Questions started connecting. Payments weren't just late, they were gone. Things that had always worked without discussion suddenly needed decisions. And that's when someone else stepped in. Not dramatically, not to defend me, just practically. It was my uncle, the one who usually stayed out of everything. He didn't call me. He called my father. I wasn't there, but I heard about it later, in fragments, not through gossip, but through the change it caused. He asked simple questions. Who was handling what? Since when? Why certain responsibilities had never been discussed openly? No one had good answers, because there hadn't been any reason to ask before. That conversation didn't fix anything. It just made things visible. For the first time, the structure underneath the family dynamic was exposed, not in an emotional way, in numbers, in responsibilities, in the quiet acknowledgement that something had been relied on without being recognized. The messages I received after that were different, less casual, less certain. My brother tried again, this time longer. He didn't mention the dinner, just asked if we could talk. I read it. I understood what he was trying to do, bridge something without naming it. I didn't reply, not because I wanted to punish him or anyone, but because for the first time I wasn't reacting before. Every silence from me had been temporary, a pause before I explained myself. Fix things, smooth things over. This silence wasn't like that. It stayed. A week passed. Then another, the dinner happened without me. I know because someone posted pictures, smiling faces, full table. It looked exactly like it always had. For a moment, I wondered if anything had really changed. Then I noticed something small. In the background of one photo, there was a stack of unopened mail on the counter. Bills, probably. Things that used to be handled before they reached that stage. It wasn't dramatic. No one was struggling. But the ease was gone. And that mattered more than I expected. I didn't feel victorious. There was no satisfaction in it. Just a quiet sense that something had been set back into its proper place. I started noticing other things too. How much of my time had been spent anticipating needs that were never spoken? How often I had adjusted without being asked, without being thanked. That pattern didn't follow me anymore. One evening, my phone rang. My father's name on the screen, I let it ring. He didn't leave a voicemail. That felt consistent with everything else. I didn't block him. I didn't delete the number. I just didn't answer. Weeks later, my uncle sent me a message. Short, take care of yourself. That's enough. I read it twice. It wasn't approval. It wasn't judgment. Just a recognition of something that didn't need to be explained. That was the first message I replied to. Yeah, I wrote, I am. And it was true. Not in a dramatic, life-changing way. Nothing had suddenly become perfect. There were still gaps, still questions that didn't have answers, but the weight of being quietly responsible for everything, that was gone. I didn't replace it with anything. I just left the space empty, and for the first time, that emptiness didn't feel like loss.